promotion, bro.
Yep.
They try to make like it's a big ass deal that they made this man potentially.
Yeah.
Now he already worth over half a trillion. Potentially he'll be a trillionaire.
Yep.
And that's the big news of the day. It's been the last 2 3 days they've been talking about it. They're gonna talk about it the whole weekend.
Well, the board finally approved it yesterday. I think the board approved it. He got 70-some% of the members on the board approved it, so it's already in the works. He got it. All he got to do is perform.
Well, I remember about 4 or 5 years ago I wrote an article about the first trillionaire.
You might be looking at him.
And I think we had put up the guy from Amazon.
Bezos,
He ain't gonna make it.
he ain't gonna make it.
Bill Gates ain't gonna make it.
Nope. Bill is done. The Oracle is done. He's not gonna. He's getting ready to retire next year, so he won't make it. And I don't think anybody else is left in his organization who's gonna be able to do it. Not
When
even
you
his
look at
children.
when you look at the top billionaires, I don't think anybody else can possibly make it. You know, maybe families might make it. You looking at the Waltons. They're all worth about 200 billion each.
Their family is too disconnected.
I'm talking about collectively. If you look at,
Collectively, they probably close to that right now.
well, that's what I'm saying. That those
Yeah.
are, when it comes to
Hey.
trillionaires,
Yeah.
collectively they pretty close to $1 trillion.
Oh yeah. They out there. If you added them all up, yeah, they would be real close to it. But they having a lot of problems, man. There with the WalMarts and stuff and everything. They closing down all these stores, and their stocks is falling and stuff and everything. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to make it or not. I really don't, because they're not doing very well out there, and this economy is screwing them up. That's why I believe that because of what's going on there, I believe that old Trump and them are going to get this shutdown and everything solved. And once the Supreme Court and stuff rules on this tariff crap and everything, I think it'll kind of straighten a few things out. But we have to see what happens.
Well,
We have to see.
they're doing everything they can to try to distract the American people in so many ways that, although there are 100 million people out there suffering or they having a hard time, that 15%, 20% of people, doing okay. So the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, when I listen to these business people and what have you, I'm telling you, bro, there's a lot of people out there making a lot of money, a lot of money, and there's a
But
lot of people that's hurting.
but even
And
the folks who are making a lot of money and everything, their fortune can rise and fall like that. And Donald is I'm telling you, man, when this daggone debt stuff really hit us and everything, it's gonna be devastating. $38 trillion, man, ain't nothing to be shaking a stick at. And you got over $1.5 trillion in interest payments you got to make. You ain't even thinking about the other stuff. And that bitch is sitting there lying every day. Oh yeah, we got $18 trillion. Joe Biden couldn't even get $1 trillion in 4 years. It has gotten so now. Most of the folks and stuff, they just look at him. Did you see that video about the guy who fell out there in the
yeah,
White
I
House?
saw it.
That shit looks bad for him. He just got up and looked at that man and turned around and just stood there. Just like he said, fuck him. I'm excuse my French people. But that's what he was saying in his mind. Fuck you, what y'all doing with it? Damn him. That was really, oh man, that was hard. Very hard on his part. But that's him. That's the dollar we know. But back to what I was just saying, man, I believe that this debt is gonna, man, this is, and Scott Bessett, man, he holding on as much as he can, and he can't sell any more bonds and stuff and everything out there. Them
Well,
bond sales,
the bonds is not doing. I mean, the 30-year bond is almost 5%.
right? And but he can't even sell them now. Nobody's buying them. Nobody's outside, and China has reduced their debt and stuff over in our country tremendously. Japan's reducing their stuff. They're not buying any more of our damn debt. They're not sure what the heck going to happen. And this man is, because of all of his flightiness and everything, can't nobody depend on him. He's not stable, and everybody's leaving him. And they're talking about these allies he's supposed to have. I don't know where they at. Cause India gone. They ain't coming back no more.
Well, you let Trump say that he's friends with everybody in the world. He's friends with everybody in the
he
world.
he not even friends with Putin, and Putin's supposed to be his boy. He's not even friends with him. I don't think anybody likes him. Guess what them Arabs is doing over there in Saudi Arabia? They moving away from him. They done sit down there and dangled up. We need 48 F-35 jets and stuff. We're gonna put in the order for them. Dangling that in front of Trump. And they know damn well Trump he can't supply them planes for them. Ain't no way. He can't even supply his own plane. He ain't got no raw materials. How you gonna create something you don't have any raw material? Boeing is dead. Lockheed, they going down. Boeing just left what? They just left throwed about 4 or 5 thousand people and stuff off, and they talking about getting out of the United States and stuff and going and building planes over they're in a foreign country, going to Mexico. They can't deal with it. That tariff shit is killing them.
Well, they all know it, and when don't negotiate and be diplomatic and work with people, at least pretend that you're friends with them.
You can't negotiate with folks, Ted, and look them in the face and then leave our negotiation room and tell people you got a deal. We got a deal. Sit there and told China we got a deal. We got a deal with them. They gonna buy our soybeans. They gonna let us have these rare earths. And they actually the guy from China, they said, well, what do you think? He said, well, what did Trump say? Whatever he said. No, that's not true. They ain't got no deal. Everybody who looked at the deal now, Ted, anybody outside, even from Canada, Mexico, European Union, they all know he's full of crap.
You keep on saying that we just did a 900 something $1 billion deal with Europe. You keep on repeating that.
He ain't got no deal with Europe. Europe don't know nothing about no deal. He doesn't have nothing with the European Union. They trying to
Well,
make a deal with China and
here, here,
Mexico and
here's the
Canada.
here's the thing, though. Ed. The man is a con artist, projection, thinking positive, saying that he's doing a lot of stuff, but ain't get shit done because I look at it like this. You ever heard of like the winner, the second place, and the show in the horse racing?
Hmm.
Well, he's the show
He's a show
loser.
because right, and the emperor has no clothes anymore. He's buck naked.
Yeah, he's a show. He's a show, bro, and that's all he is—a show. And the American people, a lot of American people, believe in him
Well,
because what he says.
there's a whole lot of them who don't believe in him now, Ted. They slowly and surely and everything walking away from him. And he is too stupid to realize that they are walking away from him. And he's got those Republicans up there in the House and a few of them in the Senate who still believe in him and they still carrying that water bucket for him.
Well, it's a funny thing you mentioned that because this afternoon I've been watching the Senate and they're
Yep.
all debating about this budget and closing and all that.
Yep.
And one of the Connecticut senators, the black lady, she said she went off, bro. She went off, and I like to say that what she said was right on, because really what the Democrats have asked for, the negotiations, of course, and try to get this health care thing done. But now they're asking for 1 year, and then they can negotiate. Open up the government, give us 1 year, and while we're doing that, we can tweak it. But what they want to do is they want to open up the government, and they don't want to concede. But what they want to do is they want to go ahead on and pay these people, the TSA and the people that's working in government, and pay the military and all that. But they don't want to do no deal because here's the thing: this man is a revengeful person, and the one thing that he wants to do is get rid of ACA. Now, what I'm thinking in my mind, just looking at this whole thing and how the ACA works, I fault the Democrats. That's who I fault because they should have been out there selling the American people, those 30 million to 40 million people that are not insured. I'm talking about Americans that are not insured because see, at first they was trying to make a mandate out of it, and that didn't work. But the thing is, if you don't sell that thing, that's why it's so high. People paying $400 and $500 a month for insurance because you only got 25 million people on it. But it should be 50 to 60 to 70 million people
Most
because
people are,
these
most
small
of those,
corporations, these small companies cannot pay insurance. They can't afford it.
and there are a whole lot of people out there, Ted, who can't even afford to go on the marketplace and get health care coverage. If you notice and stuff, what's going on, the people who are on that 30 some or 40 million people who are on the Affordable Care Act, most of those people are in the middle class, in the middle part of that middle class. Anybody who is below that cannot afford that health care coverage, even
And
though
that's
they
why they pay
subsidize it.
less.
And even though they are subsidizing, they still cannot afford to pay it to get health care coverage. So most of them went to that Medicaid part of it, the whole thing. That's why
And the
Medicaid
reason
is
why
so big.
is because they don't have enough people on it, paying into it.
They can't get anybody to it because of how they created the thing in the first place. When they created the thing, Obama gave away a whole lot of stuff and everything to the insurance industry. A whole lot of things that they didn't want to give, but he wanted to get the daggone thing passed. So he gave a whole lot of stuff up. And the subsidies and stuff and everything that the government is subsidizing and everything, they only subsidizing so much. And like I just said, the only people who can afford that is the people who are in that middle class. And
But
there's a whole lot of folks out there in the middle class.
what I'm saying is, it is not the best program. We already know that. But the more people that's on it, the
They
cheaper it gets.
cannot get these people on their tip because they cannot afford it. They cannot afford to go to the marketplace and buy the insurance. They don't have the money. That's why they on Medicaid. They can't afford it.
I'm talking about there are 30 to 40 million people right now that do not have insurance.
Right. They can't afford it.
When they go to the hospital, they go to the emergency room
Correct.
and they have to take care of them. They
Right.
are Americans that do not have insurance. So now
Correct.
they go ahead on and they pay that $500 or $1,000 or $1,200, and then boom, they're okay. They got a broken arm, whatever they might have. Instead of them paying $150 a month every month.
They aren't being charged $150 a month,
But what I'm
Ted. They're
saying is
charging more than that.
that's what would be the average cost if enough people would be on it.
But they cannot afford it, Ted. If they could afford it, they would be on it. These people cannot afford that, the insurance, the premiums every month. They cannot afford it. That's why they're not on it. And don't forget, when Obama first did that stuff, there were 29 states in this country that did not accept the Affordable Care Act.
But this is what I'm saying here.
So they
What
couldn't
I'm
afford
saying
it.
is that when you got people, states
That's,
that did not accept it.
that's not the Democrats' fault because these states who did not afford it had Republican people in it. Even my state here, Georgia, our state and stuff would not accept the Affordable Care Act. They did not have anything here for the people in the state of Georgia to get on the Affordable Care Act. They did not, to go into the marketplace. They would not do it. The only southern state who did it was Kentucky. They took all that stuff and they brought that thing and they insured all of their daggone people in the state of Kentucky. That's why you got them two senators and stuff and everything from Kentucky who is fighting this daggone thing tooth and nail. Because most of their people there in Kentucky is on the Affordable Care Act. It's not the Democrats' fault that this happened. Now, I can say now that it's the Democrats' fault for allowing this thing to happen in March. And it wasn't the House. The House stood strong against that daggone big, beautiful bill. But the people over there in those Democrats in the Senate went ahead and said, we're going to let this thing pass, and passed it. They let it pass. And they said that, well, we'll fight it in September. And this is where we at now. And that's what they're doing. They're fighting it. But every House Democrat voted against that daggone big, beautiful bill. If they had not have voted for that big, beautiful bill and everything, we wouldn't be in the situation that we are in right now. Because the bill would not have passed. And I believe after this election happened that the Democrats are going to hold strong and they are going to make damn sure that they get something out of it. And I believe that there are some Democrats, some Republicans in the Senate who are going to vote with them and everything to at least extend those benefits for at least a year or two. And that's what they're looking at. They want to say, we're going to extend it. We're not going to cut them off. We're going to extend it for another year or maybe two. The Democrats are looking for two. Republicans are looking for 1 year extension. So they don't have to worry about paying those high premiums for one more year. until they find a way and stuff in which to get this thing taken care of. But you can't believe those daggone Republicans and everything until they get Trump to sign on it. And until Trump signs on it, I don't care what the Senate does, the House has to do it. And the Speaker of the House already said, I'm not doing nothing. They can negotiate whatever they want over there in the Senate. We aren't going to even bring it up in the House. Why you think MTG is out there being a maverick? She's trying to be another John McCain. She ain't no maggot anymore. She's a rhino, Republican in name only, because she's fighting for her folks here in Georgia, her children, her adult children who can't afford that health care coverage. And if it wasn't for the children, because she signed on to that damn bill in March, she put her John Hancock on. Oh yeah, we're gonna get there. Not even looking at the daggone thing and realizing that her children were being affected by it. And I guarantee you, Ted, there's a whole bunch of them daggone House of Representatives and Senators whose children is out there under that same daggone thing. And their premiums are going to go up. And they are afraid of Trump. So they ain't going to do nothing.
All depends on who they're working for. If they're working for a company or the government, then they're fine.
I'd almost bet that they're out there, that their children and stuff is out there under the Affordable Care Act. Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene. So, only thing that we can hope for is that the Democrats in the Senate hold on, and it looks like they got a few Republicans who are going to hang in there with them, because if you listen to it, Trump the other day brought all the senators into his place and said, "Hey, you all need to do a nuclear option here and get rid of that daggone filibuster."
Oh, they're doing nuclear option. It's over for everybody.
They can't do it. They don't have enough votes. The man, the House, the Senate Majority Leader and stuff finally got on the news and stuff and told him, "We don't have the votes." He told Trump, "We don't have the votes to do it. They need 50 votes. They don't have them. So they can't end it." And Trump is threatening them. Yeah, the Democrats going to do it. Well, the Democrats tried, but they didn't. They couldn't do it. When the Democrats was in charge of the Senate, they wanted to get rid of that filibuster thing, but they couldn't do it. They had them two knuckleheads and stuff, the one from West Virginia and that old nasty little woman over there from Arizona and stuff, threw it out. So we're not getting rid of it. Because Democrats wanted to do it. It's an archaic rule, but sometimes it bodes well for people. And right now, it's boding very well.
Well, we're looking at lines and lines of people.
Yep. Getting food. Going to these food banks, getting food. Lines of them. And they're going to just begin to get started. Thanksgiving is just around the corner.
I don't know, man. You know,
Trump's going to end this thing, man, right after Thanksgiving. He ain't going to be able to stand the pressure.
you think you're gonna give in?
He's going to give it in. He ain't going to be able to stand the pressure. He's going to give in. If you don't do it before Thanksgiving, it's definitely going to happen after Thanksgiving and before Christmas. He's giving up. You can't continue like this, man. They got TSA, they got all these airports and stuff. These people, they calling all work. They ain't got no money. They ain't got no gas money. How they going to force them to come to work? They got to give them gas money. Air traffic controllers, they haven't paid them at all in over a month. People can't come to work if they ain't getting paid. Military gonna be getting need some money too in just a little bit. He's already paid them out of some kind of old bullcrap fund. He gonna have to do it again. He got the money. There's a whole lot of folks out there, government people and stuff, who working. They ain't getting paid. It's gonna get worse.
Well,
A
what's this, the
long,
38th day?
yeah, 37, I think they said. So, and we're finding out because the government is shut down and they haven't given up those numbers and stuff as far as what's going on with the employment rate and everything. They're finding out and stuff. They got a whole well, that number that you gave them yesterday. It's going
Mm-hmm.
up. It's going up. It's going up. They laying off more people. They laying them off. They're going on the unemployment roll. They even bothering Google. Google and came forth. They done laid off almost 5 or 6 thousand people.
Well, this is what we got last time he was in office.
Yep, exactly. But it happened a little bit later on. It didn't happen as soon. We
Oh,
at
that's
least
because he was
we
living off
had,
Obama's. He was
but
living
we
off
had a,
Obama's shit.
but we also had a Democratic Congress. Don't forget now. He had Pelosi and Schumer had to come into the White House and negotiate that thing in January. He had a shutdown. And I thought that shutdown was 45 days, but evidently they're saying that this is the longest one at 37 days. So I don't know.
No, it
I
was
thought it was
35
45.
days. The last one was 35 days.
35? Oh, okay. Okay. But they did that. But Schumer, Pelosi went in there into the place. Remember, they had that big picture thing going on, and Nancy Pelosi was in there with him, and Schumer was in there with him, and Nancy was reading him the riot act. And Trump went ahead and signed it and got rid of the shutdown. You don't have any more Nancy Pelosi's around because, oh my God, Ted, girlfriend is resigning, giving up the ghost next
85
election.
years old, man. She should.
Yep, she's giving up the ghost.
So a whole lot of them should give up the ghost, bro.
The whole lot of them should. She already done told them, y'all need to give up the ghost here. This is too much. You get too old, you got to get the hell out of there. They got a lot of talented people out there, young folks who can handle it. You just got to give them the rein and trust that they're going to do what need to be done. Got to
Well,
trust them.
Ed, I'm gonna throw something at you. These people, and I don't really, left, right, all this stuff, but a lot of these Republicans throwing out terms: socialism, communism, Marxism, and we've spoke on this before, but when you constantly telling the American people that the Democrats are socialists, communists, Marxists, left wing, constantly, and they hear you on national TV saying this kind of stuff, you're not trying to come together and help the American people. What are their goals? What are their vision? Their vision is to cut the government as most as possible and then use the money for other things. Now, what are those things? That's the question. What are they using the money for? If they're cutting all of these jobs, they're cutting all of these programs, they're cutting everything that helps the American people, what are they going to use that money for, Ed? Because right now, we're talking about $5 trillion a year, and they project that it might go up a little bit from that. But at the same time, there are over 1.5, 1.8 trillion over budget. Now, the first thing that they talk about is Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. But you never hear them talk about Department of Defense. Because that's a big part of our budget. That's over $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion when you talk counting in the veterans. Now, it is my understanding, people, that they receive something like pretty close to about 700 to a little bit more in Social Security every year, $700 billion. People pay into that every year. Medicare care, roughly $600 billion. Now, that right there is something that the American people come out of their paycheck, everybody that works, pay into that. Now, it is some shortfall because, there's some finagling going on and all that, overcharging and all that kind of stuff. But that's what the committee meetings are for. That's what the oversight committees are for, to try to cut that shit out. But the point is that, and you got the DOJ that's supposed to be on their job of getting these people, the FBI, people that's overcharging people and what have you. But the bottom line is that those two programs are paid. So that is not a giveaway. That's something that the American people earned. And then on top of that, that particular program right now has over $2 trillion in it right now. Social Security. I don't know how much Medicare got into it. But Social Security got over 2 trillion. And on top of that, the government owes Social Security another $2 to $3 trillion for what Reagan did. Stole some of that money out of there. So when they say this is a giveaway, Social Security or Medicare, no, it's not. Now, Medicaid is a different story because you got people that need assistance. If you only get $2,000 a month and you in a nursing home and your nursing home costs you $4,000 a month, then you're gonna need some Medicaid to help you stay in that nursing home.
After you give up all your assets.
Yeah, you got to do that too. But the bottom line is that that's why what's the big hullabaloo is about. You got all these elderly people that's in those types of situations that's keeping them alive.
Okay, let's go back to your original question. Why uh, is Trump doing what he is doing? Start with the military. Why isn't he cutting that? All his friends got contracts with the military.
Hello.
He can't cut that.
There you go.
All of his billionaire friends got contracts with the military establishment. They got big money and stuff that they got invested in. They give them military contracts, and that thing is a honey pot for his billionaire friends.
Honey pot.
And I would vary off just a little bit here and to this East Wing shit that he started. He went in and said that this is going to cost him $200 million to put a ballroom in the East Wing. Then all of a sudden, it cost $250 million, and then when they jumped on him about it and everything, he says to them, I got people who are going to help pay for this ballroom. You're going to help pay for it. And then the cost shot up to $350. I got my friends to pay for this ballroom. But then we find out that these folks and stuff and everything who's supposed to be donating to him to pay for that ballroom is the same people who got government contracts worth over $760 billion. And that's their military budget they're talking about. Okay, so I'm going to very back on the same track of you again. Okay, you said that we are paying into Medicare, Social Security, and we got a lot of money going into it. But to help give these billionaires all that tax break that they had to give it, they had to take some money from these programs.
Mm.
That's what they did. They took that almost $1 trillion out of Medicaid and didn't tell anybody and stuff that they were taking money from Medicare also. And how they took the money from Medicare, and they didn't say they didn't, they upped the cost. So when they upped the cost for the people who are paying into Medicare, they took that money and stuff, giving it to these billionaires. So all these increases stuff that we're getting now, starting in January and stuff, to our health, Medicare costs and gone up. They took that money, gave it to those billionaires for that tax cut. They only got so much money coming in the door. And they knew how much they got coming in the door. So they had to justify that stuff and everything with the Office of Budget and Management. So we ain't got for this much money, so hey, we're going to have to figure out how to take some more money. So that's what the hell they did. They took that $1 trillion and stuff out of Medicaid and upped the cost for us Medicare recipients. So the old folks is paying for those daggone billionaires on the sly.
And who's the most supporters of Trump?
The
Those
billionaires.
white, those white senior citizens. They don't even
And
they don't even know that
they don't even know they're being ripped off.
being ripped off.
They have no idea they're being ripped off.
It's a crime, bro.
It's a crime. It's a crime. He just did that. And he stood there in front of them. We are not going to touch Social Security and Medicare. No.
Yes, he did. How many times did he say that? Hundreds
You
of
said a
times.
whole bunch of times. Every time they asked about it, no, we are not bothering Medicare and Social Security.
He lied.
He lied and knew he was lying and did it with a straight face. We got screwed real bad.
No, they got screwed. We getting screwed. Yeah, we getting screwed. But we knew about we was getting screwed. There's a lot of people didn't know they was getting screwed or didn't care they was getting screwed. They just saw this wannabe blonde, wannabe young looking man walking around 6'1", thinking that he Mr. All of everything. He's Superman. He can fix
Understand,
everything.
understand, Ted, that the senior citizens and stuff out there, these people are in their 60s and going into the 70s and 80s and stuff who went down there and voted for him because they did not realize and stuff, being as old as they are and everything, that this man was selling them snake oil. And if you realize that they have a whole industry out there right now, Ted, that's making billions of dollars off of these seniors and stuff, taking their money and stuff from them because they're selling them snake oil. So if it's easy for Trump to do it, so they got an industry out there now, so we're going to do the same thing Trump did. So they calling these folks, these senior citizens up and making them promises and everything, and they taking their money left and right.
Yep.
Now, when you go into your doctor's office, what is the first thing that they do to you when you get your Medicare uh, physical?
I got a copay, bro.
You got a copay. What else you got to do?
I don't know what you're talking about. What else?
You got to draw a clock. Because you know, because you don't have the mental capabilities of the senior citizen. They think that you already senile. That's part of your thing, and you cannot not take that daggone test. If you tell them I ain't taking this test, they're gonna say, "Wait, we can't give you your physical. You got to take that test. You got to take the cognitive test and everything, so they can see if something wrong with your brain. Can you figure out what's going on?" And they do that and stuff because they automatically know once you reach a certain age, you started losing all of your ability, your executive functioning and stuff, and everything starts going down. And they're taking advantage of their executive functioning. Just like Trump, his executive functioning is going away right before our eyes, and nobody's saying a whole lot about it. He is losing it, and they're trying to cover it up. And they can't stop him from coming out there, opening his mouth and saying anything because his name is Trump, and he is dead set and everything to bring his butt out there. And they looking at him and stuff and everything because if you watch what the heck he is doing when he's on the airplane giving his thing, when he is sitting there in the office, or whenever he got a news conference, there are people all around him watching him, making sure that he don't go too far off the left end. And they are leery and stuff of him saying something that is absolutely off the charts, and they still trying to cover him up. They're sitting there placating him. One of these days, he's gonna be able to make it. One of these days, he ain't gonna be able to walk down that daggone plane, them steps on that plane, and he gonna fall straight on his daggone face.
You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here, folks. One of these days is going to happen. He's not going to be able to sit there, hold on to that rail, and walk down them daggone stairs because he getting shaky. Every time you see him, he getting more and more
Well,
shakier.
they need to put an elevator down there so that he can get on the elevator.
They ain't gonna do that. They can't because if they put the elevator out there and everything, they gonna know something wrong. You heard it when he went to the UN. The elevator broke down. The escalator step broke down, and he had a fit. He had a fit. The rest of it was okay, but he had a fit because he couldn't walk up them daggum stairs.
Well, the internet has proven that they going to be our information network
Mm-hmm.
because these people are doing documentaries on Steve Bannon,
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Miller,
Mm-hmm.
every one of these people that's supporting him. And I heard the other day, now I don't know if it was AI or not, but I heard Steve Bannon say if they win the 2026 election
They're
and
gonna
if
lock
they
them
win
all
the
up.
2028,
They
I'm
getting
looking at all
locked up.
y'all, you're going to jail,
You're going to
including
jail,
myself.
including himself.
Now, I don't know if that was AI or that was him
But
saying
that
that
was
out
him.
loud.
That was him. He threatening them people because he tried to threaten those folks and everything because he wants them to come out and vote for them. Feel sorry for us. He looking to get some sympathy from those voters. Well, I got to vote for him because I don't want him to go to jail.
Because they know they're doing all kind of illegal shit.
There was a friend of mine that lives in a certain area here around where we live at. And when Charlie Kirk got killed, Trump made a big deal out of that thing. And they were walking out of their condominium out on the street, and this old lady was walking out and everything, and she was crying. They killed Charlie. They killed Charlie. She didn't know who the hell Charlie was at all. She heard it on Fox News that they killed Charlie, and all of a sudden she said, "Oh, they done killed Charlie." And when you ask her, you probably ask her, "Who the hell is Charlie?" She couldn't have told you. But those are the people that Steve Bannon is dependent upon to vote for him, keeping them in office. He wants them to feel sorry for him because they done killed Charlie.
Lord have mercy.
They got his widow out there, and they
Well,
using her.
you went
They
there, and I'm
using
gonna
her,
go there even
using
further.
her just like a throw rug.
I'm gonna go there even further, but I ain't gonna go too deep because I don't want us to get sanctioned or fined or I'm gonna tell you something right now. What's going on right now in the Republican Party, and I've been seeing this shit brew for a while, and there's a thing that's going out right now. You're getting a lot of these people that are against the Jewish nation, Zionism, and let me tell you something, bro. You don't play with the Zionism people. These people train. They know their stuff. They know who's coming for them and everything else. And you got these people like Fuentes and other people that are totally against Jewish people and black people and brown people. So the thing is that there's a movement right now, and this is what I was saying about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, that, and I've been noticing this for a few years. It's three things they show on TV, and I mentioned this before: cops, civil wars information, and Hitler, Nazism. Those three things are on TV late at night, and they show these things, and they're entertaining. If you watch them, they're entertaining. They go to a trailer park and somebody drunk just beat up his wife, or somebody just stole something, and the police running after them and all that kind of stuff, and Nazism. They talking about the history of Nazism and all that kind of stuff, and the Civil War. They telling all kind of lies about the Civil War. So this stuff people look at nighttime, and they get brainwashed. And this is what they do. They brainwash these people because people are looking for something to watch on TV, and they say, "Oh, this is a little history," and they don't realize that Hitler hated people. He hated everybody. All he was about was power. The cops, all they want to do is arrest you. The Civil War was a bunch of crap. A bunch of poor white folks fighting to keep the rich white folks in power. This is America. And I don't think a lot of the people in the South realize that this is America. We are for freedom and justice. There are a lot of people in this country that's for freedom and justice. They might not like your race, but they for freedom and justice. They don't like the way this country is going. I hear them all the time on and read stuff. These folks do not like the way this country is going because they are for freedom and justice. Now, you know, if you some crazy, and I'm gonna say it like I feel it, Negro that's running around here acting a fool and robbing and what have you, yeah, you're supposed to be in jail. And it makes all black people look bad. But that's where some black folks are. But you got a lot of white folks doing the same shit. Freedom and justice is what the majority of white folks, black folks is all about. Freedom and justice. You know, the three most things that Martin Luther King said that was wrong with America: racism, materialism, and militarism. I'm not a racist. I'm not a materialistic person. And military, I think that you should have military for your defense because that's what they do. And I respect those people because I got a lot of military friends. However, there's a limit. And a lot of these people have made so much money off of the military and what have you, coming from the taxpayers.
And they still making money off of them.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I
Final
mean,
word, my brother. Final word. Final word. We getting close
well, my
here.
final
You.
word is this, is that everything always gets better. Right now, we're going through a transition. We're going through a paradigm. I would say, I wouldn't call it a paradigm shift. Like we're going through a power shift. And who's going to take over the power? Is it going to be the right wing? Is it going to be the left? Is it going to be the socialists? Is it going to be whatever? What is it going to be? But I'm telling you right now that it's going to be the American people. This is what I really believe. And majority of American people, we might be conservative in some things, but we're liberal or progressive in other things. And I'm telling you, the American people gonna win, bro. The American people gonna win. I really believe that. That's just me. I'm just saying because it always gets better. We're just going through a transition right now. That's all. We're going through a transition. They allowed Trump. This is probably the best thing that ever happened to us because this will wake up a lot of white folks. You cannot be putting these con artists and these dummies in office. You talk about Margie Taylor Greene. Well, her ass ain't shit. All she's doing is trying to stay in office. The shit she came out of her mouth, she should be in jail because she the one was in the White House promoting and talking about, showing those people, giving them tours. All she doing is trying to protect her own self so she keep her $250,000, whatever they making job. That's all she doing. She say, "Hey, I'm living the best of life." So what she say don't mean shit. But kudos to her that she finally realized that hey, it's a lot of people out there hurting, including your family members.
Well, getting back to what you first said when we you said that this is we're in a we're in a change. We're in a change in this country, a very big change. That was my thought when I came upstairs here to do this show here. And that was one of the things that I wanted to bring up. I said something is in the wind here. Something's going to happen, and I believe that something's going to happen. So we in for a big change, and I'm hoping that people understand that this change is coming and that they accept what the heck's getting ready to happen. Because when you go through a change, you're going to have to realize that you're going to have to do some things that are a little bit unorthodox to get to where you need to be
Yeah, well, these
and accept.
Democrats better get their
Right.
shit together.
well,
That's all I gotta say.
well, they a lot of them, Ted, they are afraid, but they're not afraid of Donald Trump. They're just afraid of this change that's getting ready to happen. I believe that they are afraid of the change that's getting ready to happen. And can America go through this change? Are these people out there who their constituents strong enough to go through this change? This thing with this food stamps and all the other stuff that's going on, people losing their jobs and stuff and everything. There's going to be some hardships and stuff out there. Some people out there, there's going to be some hardships out there. But sometimes you have to go through those hardships and everything to make things and stuff better. And and realize that just because you're not getting your food stamps, there's other stuff that's going on also. And Democrats have to realize that they're going to have to come out of this daggone shutdown with a win. They're going to have to come out with a win. Something's going to have to happen because if you taking these people through 37 days of a shutdown and maybe another 10 more days of a shutdown or wherever it takes and everything, and if you don't get some out of it, a whole lot of people out there are going to be upset with the Democrats. I mean, upset with them because you done took us through this pain and we didn't get nothing for it.
Well, I don't even want to go through all the pain that what they've done. Yeah, I'll go through a little bit of it. Over 300,000 federal workers gone. You got over a million plus 1.5 million people have lost their jobs. You got the educational thing that has been just demolished, EPA demolished. You got the you got the Small Business Bureau that's demolished.
Speaking of the Environmental Protection Agency, when I went off of my little tangent about that East Wing that Trump just tore down, I don't know if you watched the Senate and stuff and everything the other day, but one of the senators over there, Markey from Connecticut and everything, had a gentleman and stuff who was a labor leader. And they asked him about what the heck happened with the East Wing. And Trump had that East Wing tore down quick. You notice he didn't ask nobody for nothing. All of a sudden he said, "We're gonna tear it down." And they had to, and the next thing they knew, they had these daggone all these big excavators and equipment and everything out there and stuff. And he started going and tearing that place down and didn't get any survey, no permits, no nothing. Tear that place down. The place is full of asbestos.
Yep. And they put it
And
in a golf
and
course.
and they got those people out there who were not union people out there working, non-union people out there working, tearing that place down. And they didn't have any masks on, no nothing. And asbestos is all inside that East Wing building. Over. Matter of fact, it's all in the daggone White House. It's just covered up. It's right in between the walls. And they tearing that stuff down. The only thing I saw was that they had some water to keep the dust down. That asbestos is flying all around there. And the people who were coming in and out of that daggone White House and stuff every day were being exposed to it.
Yep.
Not only the workers who was out there dealing with that stuff, but the people coming in and out of that place was exposed to it.
That's how
So,
careless he is. You
yeah,
know,
he didn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He has no compassion about anybody. They don't care. Tear it down with non-union people. So most of them, they was out there working, trying to make a living.
Yeah, they got a contract.
Yeah, come out there to make a living, get some money. They're going to pay them and tore that place down, and we don't even know how it's going to get back up. Has he said anything about when they're going to start rebuilding it? Hell no. Any trucks out there to help rebuild it? Hell no.
Well, he got the money.
Where's it at?
Well, he claimed he'll pay for it himself.
Shit, Trump ain't paying for that. He gonna leave that big old hole in the wall. put a put a put a tarp over it, cover it up. And they was out there burning that stuff up. They said they had a fire out there. The guy who was a union guy said they had a fire out there burning stuff up. They had no business out there. They was illegals all get out burning that stuff up. They had to have a disposal and stuff for it and everything because of asbestos in it. That stuff it had to be dealt with in
Environmentally.
environmental. They had to be enclosed, all kind of stuff. Anything, and the people who were doing that stuff had to have air packs on, all kind of stuff. Ain't nobody had none of that stuff on. They out there with nothing. They didn't even have a mask on for the dust. That's Donald Trump, people. All right, folks. I had to say that. So hopefully that building will get back up. I don't know. I don't know if Donald gonna get the money to go. Because as I said before, he got a bad record for not paying people. he, he ain't known to pay people for their work. I'm sorry. See y'all tomorrow. Bye bye.